Shalom. Giving all the praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh,
And the world is
Bahashim,
now
Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well, peace and safety and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth and out to the sincerity and the diligent Shalom. And I just want to get into this clip. There's a few clips I want to get into because right now, as we can see, which is in the news, that the dollar is collapsing, all right? The dollar's collapsing. We've been saying this for quite some time now, beginning with the elders and apostles of the great millstone on down. But you see, majority of these Americans, these people, they didn't believe. They don't believe. They have the spirit of, what there's Missouri, you got to show me. And now, for a long time, many of the Lord been saying like the dollar is gonna collapse, man. It's like the economy is gonna collapse. But now you can see that it is. You can clearly see that it is. Like you can't look over this. All right, they're telling you on Fox News. So I'm gonna play these clips, and you see. And I'll say this again later on in the lesson, that which is then is now, because this happened in ancient Rome, okay? This happened in other societies, in other empires too, all right? But we know that America is Rome 2.0. So I'll play these clips and we can get some edification out of it.
and the world is now pulling the rug out from under the U.S. The dollar is going to collapse. The dollar is going to be replaced by gold. Central banks are buying gold to back up their currencies. They're getting rid of dollars. They're getting rid of treasuries. We are headed for an economic crisis, again, that will make the 2008 financial crisis look like a Sunday school picnic. The biggest difference between the crisis that we're about to have and the one we had back then is this one is all in America. It's not going to be exported to the rest of the world. It's not a global financial crisis. It's an American financial crisis. And
you see, and it's letting you know that, hey, the crisis that they had in 2008 what's gonna happen now is gonna make the crisis that happened in 2008 look like a picnic. So it's gonna be really, 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 really bad, man. And I have another clip, right, of this guy was going into what happened in Venezuela. So let me see.
What you think is coming is a recession. What your crazy friends might say to you is coming is maybe a depression. You'd be mistaken. Those are lies. What is coming is a collapse of the dollar. You haven't had one of those. We've never experienced the collapse of the dollar, of the world's reserve currency. This will make us Venezuela. Make no mistake. If you want to be prepared, prepare yourself like people should have prepared in Venezuela. Soon. I don't know when, but it will happen overnight. Soon, everything will be collapsing, and the banks will close, and there will be chaos.
See, it would be chaos. You know why it's going to be chaos? Because everybody trusts in this dollar. Everybody trusts in this dollar. All right, but the scriptures warns us from that because we understand, where we at. Right, we understand that this place has to fall. Brothers that's in the spirit understand that this place must fall. This is let me see. This is 1 Timothy 6 and 17, it says, charge them that are rich in this world, right? That are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but the living power who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. So it says, charge them that are rich in this world. Now, that don't necessarily mean you got to have millions of dollars. You just got to be in the middle class. You know what I mean? You ain't necessarily got to be in the middle class. You just have to be in society, really and truly, right? But, a lot of people do trust in this dollar, and they starting to see that the dollar is failing them, all right? Because the dollar collapsing loses trust globally. So, because the first dude he was talking about, this is going to affect America. No, this is going to affect everywhere. All right, because this is a global reset. Okay. All right, and the dollar is going to lose purchasing power very, very fast. So it says that they be not high-minded, okay, nor trust in uncertain riches. And this dollar is an uncertain rich, is considered an uncertain riches because it's a fiat currency. It's not backed by anything. Just like I said, that which is then is now. See, in Rome, what they did, they would dilute their currency. They diluted their currency. They destroyed their currency themselves, which America did the same thing when they took it off the dollar. The gold standard. So therefore, the dollar wasn't backed by anything. Only reason why the dollar is still in play because people trust the dollar. Okay. Now, once this dollar crashed, once the economy crash, prices jump fast, like inflation, hyperinflation. All right, everything like food, fuel, utilities, and things like that. The money that you got saved, all that shit just devalues quickly. All right, where the food and all those things are gonna go like food and fuel and medicine and stuff like that. That's going to skyrocket in prices. Okay. Everything is going to become very, very expensive. Banks are going to close, okay? And we know that this devil knows that this because they want the economy to crash to bring in the new system, which is the digital system. All right, they're going to replace it with a digital currency, okay? And we know that that's what they're going to do, okay? So the thing is that people are trusting in this dollar, and this dollar is on its way out of here. All right, people are gonna go back to what you would call a barter system. Trading services for goods. You see, that's what's gonna happen. And he said Venezuela. He brought up Venezuela. So what I did is when I went and looked up on the chat, I say Chat GBT or Chat PT, something like that. I forgot how it go. Chat PT. Yeah, Chat GPT. That's what it is. I went and looked that up. So I asked Chat, I was like, what happened in Venezuela during the currency crisis? It said hyperinflation took over the economy. It says, meaning prices wasn't just rising, they were exploding. Inflation hit extremely high rates over 130,000%. Okay, meaning money lost value faster than most people could keep up with it. All right, it says the Venezuelan currency lost nearly all its value. All right, to cope, the government removed zeros from the currency multiple times, but this was cosmetic, not a fix. Money printing was a central cause. Okay, and then what you think? That's what happened in America. America just print money, which drives it to hyperinflation. Okay, you see. What else it says? Government controls, crackdowns, and what else? Right, yeah. It says heavy money printing without backing. That's exactly what happens with the American dollar. Collapse of oil revenues, price controls and shortages, dual exchange rates creating black markets, which led to hyperinflation, the currency losing basically all its value. All right, savings wiped out. And this is what happened in Venezuela. And what old buddy was just saying, this is the same thing that's going to happen here in America. Now, look what it says. It says prices changing multiple times daily, multiple times per day. So you may go into a market somewhere, and what you're looking for is $10. So you wait to get it, and you go back maybe 2 hours later. Now it's $18. That's what happens in the crash of a dollar, man. Okay. You see, people were spending money immediately after getting paid. Okay, cash became useless. Cash and eventually cash was refused. All right. People was weighing money rather than counting it because they needed so much money just to buy basic goods. All right. Salaries became meaningless. Food shortages and substitutions. Right. Meat. This is what happened in Venezuela. Meat, milk, and eggs disappeared. Okay. People stood in line for hours for basic food. Okay. Government food boxes became lifelines. All right, people adapt. It was one meal a day. Like, and think about how people are in America. You got some people that can't go 2 hours without eating. Nobody be really fasting. They don't practice fasting. Okay, one meal a day. People was losing weight. All right, hospitals ran out of supplies. Okay, and this is what happened in Venezuela, and run it back. Look what he said.
Recession. What your crazy friends might say to you is coming is maybe a depression. You'd be mistaken. Those are lies. What is coming is a collapse of the dollar. You haven't had one of those. We've never experienced the collapse of the dollar, of the world's reserve currency. This will make us Venezuela. Make no mistake. If you want to be prepared, prepare yourself like people should have prepared in Venezuela. Soon. I don't know when, but it will happen overnight. Soon, everything will be collapsing, and the banks will close, and there will be chaos.
See? So, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna happen overnight. All right, and what happens is that the middle class disappears first. All right, life as you know it got harder. Life as you know it will get harder, more strenuous. Very, very fast. All right, but this was prophesied, right? Let me get this. This is what was told to us in the book of Zephaniah 1 and 10. It says, "It shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and the howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." Right? This is what and people did business and commerce. All right, a great crashing from the hills, because what you're gonna have a economical collapse, like the dollar crashing, okay? Because it goes on to say, "How ye inhabitants of Mektesh," right? For all the merchants, like Mektesh, which like would be our modern day Wall Street, where they, stocks and trades and things like that. For all merchants, people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off, okay? So all you that have investments and money and all these different things, you're going to feel this. This is going to hurt, all right? You see, you all of you that trust in the dollar, that thought you was going, invest in this, invest in that. Nah, because it's a reason why all this is happening, because they want to crash the economy. They want to get rid of the old system to bring in a new system. Okay, to where it ain't gonna be no savings. Everything is gonna be a digital currency, to where it ain't gonna be no savings. You're gonna have to spend your money at a certain time, right? And everybody's gonna end up being on a UBI, which is ultimately is gonna lead to the MOTB, which is the CHIP. All right. So this is the times that we in. This is what's going on, okay? Because once right, we know about hyperinflation according to Revelation, the 6th chapter. All right, Revelation 6 and 6, it says, I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts saying, a measure, right? A measure. And when you go into measure, it says a konix, right? A dry measure containing four, I might say that wrong, kalei, or 2 centauri, less than our quart, 1 liter, litre, or as much as would support a man of moderate appetite for a day. So this measure is to support one man's appetite for a day. It says, so a measure for one man's appetite of wheat for a penny, right? So when you go into the word penny, it's denarius, right? So when you go into this word, it says a Roman silver coin. In the New Testament time, it took its name from being an equal to 10 asses. A number after 217 BC increased to 16. Okay? It was a principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers of the vineyard, it would seem that the denarius was then an ordinary pay for a day's wages. So, this is the time, of the Romans. So that denarius was a day's wages. Okay, so it's gonna take a day's wages to feed one man in the time of, economical collapse, the crashing of the dollar. We just read that. This is what happened in Venezuela, and this is the same thing that's about to happen here in America. You see, because people think that this place is gonna continue forever. People think that the government is gonna shake it back. No, your politicians and all the people that you put your trust in, they know what's going on. Okay, Donald Trump know what's happening. You see. And they're not telling you these things. They're not telling you that even just like today, just Monday, gold was at 5,100. Now it's at 5,700. All right, it just look, and all investors have lost faith, in this paper dollar, this fiat currency. Right, and that's why the scripture says, "Trust not in uncertain riches." Okay. Was that I want to say that's Job. Let's go to Job 15. Job 15 in the NLT. Okay, 31. It says, let them no longer fool themselves by trusting in empty riches. You're fooling yourself by trusting in this dollar. For emptiness will be their only reward. Okay? And that emptiness is going to cause you to go what? Go down there and get that MOTB, man. All right? Because it's going to be all out chaos. People are going to be looking for some type of way out, man. And they're going to have that UBI, right? And a solution, and people are going to take it regardless. They don't matter what it is, for some sense of normalcy. All right. So we can see that this happening. We can see this unfolding. So I got one more clip.
Is usually a good thing. A weaker currency is usually a good thing. Usually all these other nations are fighting each other to try to have the weakest currency. Lately it's been the US dollar sliding, and yet everyone here is panicking about that. Yes, it's fallen, but it's fallen by from 99 to 96, and it used to trade down in the 80s. So we might have some more weakness from here. It might go back higher. The thing that's a real headwind for the country is when it's up at 110 like it was a year ago. The only problem with the dollar being at these levels is that it might introduce some import inflation, and I wouldn't be surprised if that changes the tone from Washington on it, a little bit like we saw with the Treasury Secretary this morning, if it continues. So you can read more in my piece, my newsletter today, where I talk about why this could be as simple as changing expectations about Federal Reserve rate cuts and not necessarily any reason to panic.
See, that's some vain shit. That's vain hope. See, like she would consider like a damn near what you would call a false prophet, man. See, Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 and Let's see. Jeremiah 23. Let's see. In 18. Okay. So making everything they say. Right. So Jeremiah 23 and 16. This is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies say to the people. Do not listen to these prophets when they prophesy to you, filling you with futile hopes. See what that word means. Fruitless, okay? Fruitless, incapable of producing any useful results, pointless. Why? Because we know that this dollar is going to collapse. So, yeah, it's a reason to panic. It's a reason to panic for all you 2/3 and all you people that haven't hearkened to the word of the Lord. Yeah, it's a reason to panic for all you women out there that think you can do it on your own, that trust in your degrees, that think just because you provided for yourself all this while that the world is going to have mercy on you because you're a woman. All that's going to go out the door. All of it. All right? That's futile hopes that this person is talking about. America, the land of the free is out of there, man. All right? It says they are making up everything they say. They do not speak for the Lord. Okay? So she's making up everything that she say because she has hope in this place. Because hope is, man. When people got hope in something, man, it keeps them going. All right? But, this place is over with. It says Jeremiah 51. It's Jeremiah 51 and 51 and 8. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen, which is America. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go up everyone to his own country. For a judgment reacheth unto the heavens and is lifted up even to the skies. And that's what these other nations are going to be saying. They're going to go to their own country because America's going to get hard to sustain life in. All right? There ain't going to be nothing they're going to be able to do. Except what? I mean, I think, try to, deal with the interest rates, but, or just allow hyperinflation to take its toll. What all that gonna do is just, make this destruction of Babylon faster. All right, hyperinflation is gonna rip this place apart, man. Okay, because this currency was built to fail anyway. Okay. America, Babylon the Great was prophesied to fall, man. So, that's basically all I had on that, man. Lord willing, you're edified, bro. We seeing the collapse of this dollar, and it's going to happen. They talking like it's going to happen in our time because, look, we about to have a government shutdown, right? About to have another government shutdown. You got this disease X, and it's just a lot going on right now, man. So Lord willing, bro, we continue fighting and stay in the spirit and praying to the Lord. And the Lord, bless you with spirit, man, to continue in the spirit. Shalom.